Hello everyone, welcome to a most definitely last video before Christmas. So today you can find all the information on screen here. So it's Harley manuscript 978 folio 118R for recto, and this is the only complete version of the Lais by Marie de France. It's in full colour. It's a British Library manuscript website. It's pretty easy to use, maybe to do the next and things. So follow the mouse as always. The next is up here, and if you want to scroll through, it's actually quite difficult. Sometimes you see this bar here, sometimes you lose your place when you're scrolling. If you want to move just a couple of folios or rectos and versos in one way, it's not too hard. As you can see, it has a scroll function. We can scroll down here, and so it was a British Museum manuscript, as they all were, I believe, before the British Library got hold of them. I'm not going to spend too long on this, just going to analyse this page, and it's very nicely written, as you can see. It's not jam-packed with abbreviations, so I'll probably read the first 4 lines. So this is the prologue. The prologue is not the first lay. So qui deus ad dune en science. As usual, don't pay too much attention to the accent, to the phonemes. I'm actually pronouncing, and they're just approximate. I don't spend too much time on pronunciation because you know whose benefit, who would that be for? Not even really me. So this, it's a lowercase k really, as we understand it, but it's the illuminated, initial letter. Qui deus ad dune. So right, we have ad, which is clearly a, meaning has. That's how we know it's dune, because obviously there is no acute. Qui deus ad dune en science, et de par l'air bon éloquence, which doesn't have any red on it because it just because it's here. There's no space here. If it were in line, I'm sure it'd have a little red swish across it like the rest of these do. Bon éloquence, ne sondate taisir ne celer, insedate volontaires mustraire, quand vous croyez bien est mut ois, donc a primus est il fleuris. So we've got a first couple of abbreviations here. So a primus, I'm going back to this one, grants. And then quant, common one. Missing word. Donc ad espondu, c'est fleurs. Not too sure what this is if you follow the mouse. You could interpret it as meant to be an S there, but and then we've got that actually links to the ad. So a little line here, because it looks like it's a dot and an I, but it's clearly not, because it's costume fou as anciens. And then sort of speed through. There's your nasal indicator, or a macron, or you might transcribe it as a macron. You could transcribe it as a tilde over the E. Assez oscurement diseunt. And then we'll sort of speed through. There is definitely something I wanted to show you. So it's very nicely written. Sunt, we can see there. You see the clear tittle on the I, the dot on the I, which obviously isn't a dot as we would write it, but really helps sometimes because that could look a bit like an M. I mean, LATM doesn't mean anything, so you could rule it out for that reason. And the second reason is it has the dot, the tittle on the I. We scroll up, you can sort of see a bit of how difficult it can get and yet all manuscripts are a lot like this. It's one of those, especially this one here. I'd probably have to, like, because there is a second manuscript, this is when you can bring your second manuscript in and work out what this says. The rest, I think every other word I can read, so Ramon Bronx, Liz Freya. Or you can look for rhymes as well. If it's the second word of a couplet, you can work out what has to be here. Si qui primes les commencierunt, et qui avant les escrierunt, or I don't know. So just a few more abbreviations I'm going to go through, and we've just hit 6 minutes there. En l'honneur de vous, or vous nobles reis. So that's your, it looks like a U and a V, don't have separate forms yet, of course, so VUS, VUS, I would transcribe that. And then I think we're really only onto features we've seen before that aren't remarkable. So I'll just missing apostrophe, or where we would have an apostrophe now, I should say, not missing. Can't be missing if there weren't. Qui en son temps passe ne s'oublie. So s'oublier. So there would be, if you were transcribing, you put an apostrophe in there because it's oublier, but reflexive, and you'll sometimes see that as s'oublie because the E doesn't have to be elided. It just is sort of, the further back you go, it's very 50-50, but when you're getting into Middle French and into obviously modern French, you always elide s'oublie, you don't say s'oublie. But going back, certainly back to sort of the 13th century, which is what this is reckoned to be. So if you look, follow the mouse to the top left, third quarter of the 13th century. So 1275 to 1300 is what we're looking at. I'll just do the last two lines. Mais quand il y a en un pays, homme ou femme de grand prix.